Hello everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Monday Tsene with Pretoria Psychologists. My name is Keabetswe Molapisi, and on today's episode we're going to be speaking about depression and Black men. So according to SADC's article, 50% of the population aged between 20 years and 50 years old will most likely be able to experience depression. But however, that statistic might be actually a slight bit higher simply because of we do have African men who do experience depression but are less likely to go and report that depression. Now, what is depression? Depression can be explained as a mood disorder. A mood disorder that is characterized by the presence of sadness, irritability, and also emptiness and other physical and cognitive symptoms that are present and that will be present for a certain particular period. So it is very important that, sometimes we use the word depression very loosely, in a sense that today you'll be feeling very sad or having a low mood or feeling down basically, and you'd say, oh, you know what, today I'm very depressed. But you need to know that that is not depression, because depression also has certain criteria that an individual needs to meet so that they can be able to be diagnosed as being depressed. So now, according to the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, they have a criteria for how depression looks like. And one of the symptoms, or rather I'm going to go through the symptoms of that depression, and bear in mind that the symptoms that I'm going to be discussing, they are not limited to that. So the first symptom that an individual would see would be loss of interest in the things that they enjoyed. Let's say, for example, you enjoy taking your nieces and nephews to school in the morning, or you enjoyed, let's say, a jog in the morning, but you no longer enjoy such kind of things. The other symptom might be social withdrawal, where you'll be going with your friends to popular spots, or you'll be enjoying meeting up with your family, but now because of you'll be going through the certain phase, or not really a phase, but this time in your life, you're not able to go and socialize. You decide to isolate. And another symptom might be, someone once said that as individuals, we carry our stress very differently in our bodies. So the other symptoms might be that you experience some bodily aches, some will have headaches, some will also have lower back pain. So that could be seen as another symptom of depression. And also weight gain. Other people, when they're stressed a lot or when they're going through the most, they either eat a lot or they do not eat that much at all, or they also sleep a lot or don't sleep much. And the other symptom also might be hallucination, where people tend to hallucinate and sometimes also have what we call loss of pleasure in life, where you just don't find pleasure anymore. You might be having a good job, having a good life, but suddenly because of what's happening, you find that you don't find joy or pleasure in anything. You don't want to get up maybe to go to work, or you don't want to do the activities that you enjoyed doing. Therefore, that pleasure in life ends up fading away because you might be experiencing depression, especially if sometimes, there is a traumatic event, or maybe let's say a painful experience that you have come across. So that on its own might make you also lose pleasure in life. Another symptom would be negative thoughts about self, negative thoughts about the world, negative thoughts about the future, where you think you are unimportant, you are worthless. Maybe, there isn't anything good that you want to look up for. That can also be seen as another symptom of or rather another thing that you can look for if you are depressed. Now remember that doesn't mean that if you're going through those kind of things, immediately you are depressed. That's why also the DSM is there, the criteria is there to be able to help you. So don't be at home listening and then diagnose yourself simply because of maybe you wake up and then you're not feeling or are experiencing one of the symptoms. That's why if you're feeling somehow, you need to be able to go and seek help. That's the first thing that you need to be able to do. Now, we know that help is something that a lot of men, or rather it's something that sometimes we find it difficult to seek. So we're gonna now be looking at barriers, especially in the African culture, that can act as something that hinders men to be able to go and seek help. So one of the first barriers would be that ideas or ideals that are being taught from when boys are young or when men are young. So things like, maybe let's say you fall on a bike or you experience whatever painful experience that might be, and they'll say, no, don't cry, big boys don't cry. That on its own as well can become something very problematic, because as men, when you grow up, then that thing translates into no, man up, or no, take it like a man or be like a man. Such kind of things now end up becoming a barrier to you seeking help, and also societal expectations of what it means to be a man. We all have different ideas of what it means to be a man. Society teaches us, different ideas of what it means to be a man, and those on its own, those ideas, whether spoken or unspoken, sometimes can act as a barrier, because other, examples would be, as a man, you need to toughen up, or as a man in Setswana, they say, "Monna ke nku, o llela teng," which means, I think, loosely translating it, when you are a man, you can't cry. It's like if you are at a funeral and then you have a bunch of women crying, you can't be crying with them as a man because you are a man. So such kind of things, they are the ones that at the end of the day, when you are also experiencing pain as an individual, regardless of where it's stemming from as a man, you end up feeling like, but how I can't be crying as a man because of what will people think, which also then speaks to another point of mine that says that men sometimes they end up not seeking help because of they fear how people will end up perceiving them. So maybe they know you as this type of person and you're thinking, but how will people view me if I tell them, what, I think I'm depressed, or I'm having a low moment in my life, or this is what's happening. They think like, but I think, people will change how they view me. So they end up doing what? They end up not going out and seeking help. And also I remember, I think it was a few weeks back, about a month or so, we were having a discussion on something completely different to this one. And somebody said, what, society can really be toxic. And sometimes, of course. And I would like to add that I think also culture can also sometimes be toxic to Black men, in a sense that if we are now holding ideals and if we are now holding ideas that are quite toxic to your own mental health or detrimental to your own mental health, then isn't it, time to actually question that, or time to actually take a step back and see, okay, I know I'm holding up this idea, or I know I'm holding up this thought, but is it doing me good in terms of my mental health? So that's where now we end up seeing a lot of men going, especially Black men, that's where we see them ending up abusing alcohol, abusing drugs, becoming very angry, becoming very irritable, simply because of they need to have an outlet, because of they were not able to find an outlet in a quote unquote healthy way. Then they go and have an outlet or use something that can be also detrimental to them. So that means that as a black man, you need to learn that if you are experiencing a difficult situation, reach out to friends, reach out to church members, reach out to whoever that you might feel comfortable to speak with. If you have colleagues as well, if you have means, reach out to professional help, as many as you are able to, and also engage with organizations like your SADC, where you'll be able to get more help, and so you can be able to be healthy, basically. And remember that if you do not take care of your mental health, you won't be able to take care of those around you. Thank you. I hope that you found this helpful. Until next time, bye-bye.